Now, 5 alleged robbers have been killed in a daring shootout with KwaZulu-Natal police. The suspects had earlier robbed a mall in Empangeni while holding a security guard at gunpoint. While making their escape, police intercepted the group, which sparked a high-speed chase on the N2 highway in Durban. eNCA senior reporter Dasen Thatiah has been following these developments for us this afternoon. He's joining us now to provide the details on how the drama, in fact, played out on that highway in Durban. Dasen, very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Today. Can you just provide us with more details about this incident?
I will, Bradan, but let me start here. So right now the forensic teams are working on one of the vehicles that was involved in this shootout. It crashed off to the side of the N2. This is the N2 North in the vicinity of the King Shaka International Airport. So the traffic has been reduced to one lane while the team works, because the crime scene now stretches for a few meters along this road that I'm on. You'll see some tire marks on the road. That's where the vehicle went off the road, went off to the side of the road, and that's where it eventually came to rest. So 4 of those suspected robbers are in that vehicle. Their bodies have not yet been removed. One of them is outside, 2 are in the vehicle, and 1 is behind. And just a few hundred meters further away from where I'm standing now was what would be the first crime scene, and that's where the other vehicle that was allegedly involved in this robbery also crashed off to the side of the road. And it was there that 1 suspect passed away, and the 3 others were injured, 2 of them critically. Now, all of this happening roughly about 150 kilometers away from where the initial robbery took place. That's in Empangeni at a mall. And it was very early this morning at about 5:30 that these 2 vehicles parked outside that mall, and this gang of 8 allegedly started stealing items from there. They were captured on CCTV as well, trying to take items like blankets and clothing and cell phones and put them into the vehicles before making their getaway. But that's where they were intercepted by security officials. Let's listen to what the SAPS's Brigadier J. Naika had to say about this incident.
In the early hours of this morning, this group traveling in 2 vehicles robbed a business premises in the Empangeni area. It was a clothing store. They held up the security guard. They broke the windows of that shop, and they basically stole a whole lot of clothing and other items from that shop. They loaded the stuff in the 2 vehicles and started fleeing from the Empangeni area, driving towards Durban. This was picked up by a security company in the Empangeni area, who gave chase and alerted all other role players. In Durban, they were joined by other security companies, as well as other police units, who intercepted these individuals. There was a shootout between the police agencies, as well as the security companies and the suspects. So altogether, we're looking at 5 people that have passed away. 4 of them are in this vehicle that's at the second scene that we are now at, and 1 is in the first scene. 2 of the other occupants from the first vehicle are in hospital in a serious condition, and the 3rd is in our custody. He suffered minor injuries.
Dasen, I understand that apparently the suspects or these robbers, these alleged robbers, have a reputation when it comes to this sort of robbery.
That's what it would seem to be. I mean, that seems to be the case, at least, because police were also telling us about the types of items that were found in these vehicles, particularly in that polo that's behind me as well. So it would seem at this point that they were involved in other robberies. Security companies like Marshall and IPSS, they were involved in this chase. They say that they've been tracking this gang for a while now over in various areas in Durban, in Empangeni. I mean, if you look at the distance between the 2, you'll see that they had quite a wide area in which they were working in. We're also told that they could be linked to some of the break-ins at car dealerships in the Durban area. There have been several of those recently, things like computers and other items being taken from there. So at this point, police will have to confirm conclusively whether in fact they know how many crimes and how many different robberies they were linked to. But for now, let's listen to what those security teams had to say to us on that exact question about what these gangs were linked to.
We've confirmed a few cases already. These guys are linked to the robberies of the dealerships, where they've been hitting the car dealerships around Umhlanga area and all that.
Those guys were terrorizing the KZN. They were all over Durban, Stanger, Richards Bay, Empangeni. They got cases all over. So they were most wanted suspects.
It seems like there was good coordination, Dasen, between the security company that was made at Empangeni Mall and the police, but also there was a swift response by the police.
Definitely. I mean, if you look at the kind of distance that they traveled along, I mean, this N2 highway that they made their way along, it's a huge stretch. And what's interesting about it is how that coordination happened, because the initial security company was the one that would have raised the alarm there in Empangeni. They spoke in their network to other companies, to the police. And as these would-be robbers or these alleged robbers made their way down closer towards Durban, all of these other agencies then got involved and assisted with what you ultimately see here, getting them off the road. Unfortunately, it had to end this way, but this is what it meant. So security and police that were closer to Durban eventually got involved here, closer to the Tongaat area, and that's where the shootout took place. But what's also interesting to note at this point is that police haven't been able to say whether it was the shooting necessarily that killed all of them, or whether it was the car accident, or the two car accidents that played a role in that. But whatever the case may be, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate is investigating, and they will be looking into that and just to determine the cause of death as well.
So just to confirm finally, Dasen, five of these alleged robbers have now died, and one is in hospital in critical condition. I mean, two are in hospital and one has been arrested?
Correct. So all three of them would be considered to be arrested. Two of them are under police guard because they critically wounded and are in hospital, and the other one suffered minor injuries. We're told that he was trying to make an escape, and it was those police officers that were on scene, as well as those teams that managed to get him back and place him under arrest. But those two that are in a critical state, at least one of them is looking like he's very badly injured, and we will be getting an update later to find out what his condition is as well.
Thank you very much. Dasen Thatiah, they're live to us on that highway just in the Durban area after the dramatic shootout, the police and chase of over 150 kilometers from the early hours of this morning.